Hello everyone. Today we are going to do a leopard's eye. And to start, we are going to do an outline for the eye. And if you can see, I'm just drawing it straight away. But if you are actually following a reference photo, there's a proper technique which I am skipping today. So I'm doing lines based on the significant colors that I can see from the picture. And I'm just trying to extend a little for the outer contours. And I just realized my pupil was really high. I'm going to move it a bit lower. And then I'm just going to do a set of lines that separates the darkest area that you can see. So separating the alternating colors. Doesn't have to be perfect, that's okay. This is the light reflection. And now we can start with our colored pencil. So I'm erasing the outlines very lightly where I can still see them, so that I can start tracing it with our colored pencil. So to start, we will use our black for the pupil. I'm not doing it very dark at the moment, so I'm putting my hand a bit farther from the tip so that the pressure is not too hard, and as you can see, we can still appreciate the texture of the paper. And I'm going to start using this, it's not light, but it's bright yellow, just to outline, tracing the outer area of the pupil. And we're going to do an outward stroke using the same yellow, bright yellow. And then we're going to use any yellow-green. You can choose any yellow-green shade of color. I picked this green gold. So we'll do the same thing, an outward strokes of line. And then I just want to extend the yellow, so I'm just going to do longer strokes this time. And then same thing, using the yellow green, I'm going to do longer strokes. Actually, it's not that long compared to the yellow, but I just want to darken them. And now we can add the base. I want to start from this left side. Then we can erase the outlines very light again. I actually realized the eye is more orangey. It's more orange than yellow. So for the base, if you want, you can actually use light orange instead of this light yellow. And then using the yellow green, I'm going to do wavy lines. Now that we have the base, you will notice that it's not marking as dark as how it will be where there's no base, because with the shades of the base it changes the texture of the paper. And then I chose this reddish brown. I'm doing the same wavy lines. You don't have to trace where the yellow green was. You can do it in between them. And then I'm just adding the yellow green just for some effects. And then I'm going to use the black pencil, colored pencil, doing the wavy lines. And I just want to extend them by adding another set of small lines on top of these wavy lines. So it's this time I'm using the brown. And then since we just started, this portion is quite a trial and error. I wanted to see how these three colors would blend, so I'm using a white colored pencil to blend them all. Forgive my English, by the way. English is my third language. And then this is the green. I want the yellow green to show a bit more, so I'm shading the area and blending them. Now we are going to draw a petal-like drawings using the black colored pencil. They don't have to look equally the same. Just draw like the same as how we will draw for flowers. I'm just adding the bright yellow closer to the pupil. And then using the brown colored pencil, I just want to highlight outside the petal-like drawing. I'm adding the brown. Then blend them again with white colored pencil. So I want to focus on this left side of the iris. You can see there's a C shape pigmented area. Outside it, there's a bright, it actually looks more orange, but I've used this bright yellow. But as you follow this tutorial, you can use different shades of orange instead. So instead of using bright yellow, if you would want, you can use a bright orange color. And I'm just adding this bright yellow, like a second base from the light yellow that we did earlier. And then I can see that there's like brown spaces, so I'm using the brown colored pencil. And then for the C shape, we'll add this brown as the base again. Also for this little dark pigmented on top, so I added brown as another base. And then now I can use the black colored pencil. And then just doing outward strokes for the yellow. Same thing with this black colored pencil, just to blend the black, the brown, and the yellow that we use. And then I just want to do some strokes again. Then we're highlighting this pigmented area on top. Then blend with white colored pencil. This is a brown colored pencil, so I'm just doing another strokes of lines just for effects. And then I can see that there are small semicircle-like. I'm alternating the semicircles that I can see with black and brown. I just want to darken again the petal-like drawing with the black. Then blend them again with white. And now we can darken our pupil. You can see that I am putting my hand closer to the tip of the pencil. So this time, the pressure is going to be harder. Just blending them all with the yellow. Now we're going to do this side I think it's the 11 o'clock of the eye. So doing the base again, light yellow, and then just doing, I'm using black straight away because this area is quite darker than the left side that we did earlier. So I'm doing strokes of line using the brown, and again doing, if you can remember, we did wavy lines earlier, so I'm doing the lines using alternating black and brown. Just to give that darker effect on this area. So we're focusing with black and brown. And to do the base of this like black like rim, if you can see it from the reference, I am not using a light yellow as the base, but I'm using this dull colored yellow as the base for the rim. Then we can shade it with the black pencil this time. Then blend them with white. When I blend, I do the same like outward strokes, up and down strokes. Then just making a petal-like drawing again using the black pencil. Then blend again. I just want to darken again the petal-like drawings from this end. I miss recording this area, so just do the same base, dark yellow, and then black. Now we're going to just add those tiny hairs, hair-like, that we can see from the drawing. We can go back to that. So we are now going to focus on the like 7 o'clock portion of the eye. So we'll do the base again using the light yellow. Then we are going to use the black to highlight the pigmented areas. This tutorial is actually for beginners like me. So I know artists that are expert with colored pencil, they will use different techniques. So we are going to do the same thing on this portion. We highlight the pigmented areas, and then we'll do alternating wavy lines for brown and black, and then blend them with white afterwards. And this is the look from afar. It's quite decent, I would say. Now we're going to proceed with the inner sclera, the inner canthus part. I'm sorry that I'm losing focus with the camera. I did not actually notice it when I was recording. So I'm just tracing the line, the previous outline, with a brown colored pencil. So I'm using the lightest gray that I have for the base of this sclera. And since this is a big portion to work with, I don't want to put too much pressure yet. So I'm putting my hand a bit farther away from the tip. And then we're going to use a darker shade of gray. It doesn't have to be the darkest, actually. Choose a bit lighter than what I'm using now, because I just realized it's quite darker than of my liking. So we're not shading the entire sclera with this dark gray. We're doing it only halfway. Then we're going to draw this tiny capillaries, as you can see from the reference. So they are like broken lines with shapes like a pentagon. And using a reddish brown, I just want to darken some of the areas of the line, not all the lines, just portions of it. And then I just want to add more pentagon-like shape. And then now we're going to blend everything using the white colored pencil. And mind you, I actually find it hard to blend. I just think I've used a very dark gray. That's why you can still see the darker side and the lighter side of the gray. So now I'm just trying to soften the blending part. So I'm using the dark gray that I've used, but I'm only adding light pressure this time. I don't want to darken it so much. Using this colorless blender, I'm trying to blend this specific middle area. Also using this rubber pencil. This is actually a rubber eraser pencil where you can sharpen them. I'm trying to soften the edges from the darker gray so that I can blend them. I'm just extending a light pressure with the darker gray. Now to do the inner canthus area, I'm using this reddish brown, just doing upward strokes. Then using the darker gray, I'm just adding more pressure in the inner canthus to make it darker. Then doing these lines using the brown. Then blend them with the white. On top of the brown outline that we did, I'm using the black. And then using the dark gray, this is still the black. So using the dark gray, we're going to do a line on top of this black, not entirely from the inner canthus, just near the iris. And we blend them with white. And then using this purple like grayish pencil, colored pencil, I'm trying to blend the dark gray to the light gray. And then a very light shade of brown. Then blend them all again. So I'm going to do the hair-like effect coming from the iris using the black colored pencil. Now we're going to proceed with this reflection area. I'm using the brown colored pencil. This is for the eyelashes, the reflecting eyelashes. Is that right? I don't know how you say it. And then as the base, we're going to use white. And I just thought of using this charcoal pencil that is colored white. As you can see, it shows the white more compared to the colored pencil. But if you don't have this white charcoal pencil, that's okay. You can stick with white colored pencil. It's just that it stands out. And then we'll continue with the brown. And then we'll add halfway another base of light gray. Just halfway, okay? And then using the purple-like and grayish-like 2-in-1 colored pencil, we're going to highlight the remaining portion of the pupil. Then I'm using the light gray again as the base on top. And then shading it with the purple or grayish, the 2-in-1 colored pencil. And I'm using the same colored pencil to extend the base of the upper lid. And then using black to finally cover this base. Then we'll extend the shading of this black to the brown area that we did earlier. I'm doing upward and downward strokes in the shading. And then we're going to do the lashes. It's actually hard if you really want to follow as exactly as how the reference is. So I'm just alternating with short and long lashes with curled and super curled lash. Then I'm just adding the purple, the grayish purple on top, but just on the left side of the reflection where we added the gray earlier. So we're not adding this to the entire reflection. Then this lower area. So we're just going to highlight again the pigmented area. But yeah, before that, I just thought of this new product that I bought. It's like a white correction fluid. So I wanted to highlight the white marks that we can see from the ref. As we approach to the end of this part 1 tutorial, I'm just finishing off doing the pigmented area using the black colored pencil. And yes, this is how our eye would look like after doing this first part. I hope you will follow me for more until we finish the leopard's eye.